What is going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. It's going to be an update of Super Quantal mech stuff. Okay, without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. We are running 3 Super Quantum Black Layer. By the way, this is just post Duelist Advance. Just came out this weekend. It's not even out, it's pre-released this weekend. But yeah, okay, so this deck profile is really weird. I'm going to go for an in-depth explanation. It is hard to pilot, and it's down to luck, which is never a good thing for like a competitive build. But anyway, Super Quantum Black Layer is exactly what the deck needed. If this card was in any other archetype, it would be insane. What it does is, it can special summon itself, but you're very rarely doing that. That's what people are kind of turned off by. If your opponent activates an effect, then you can discard it and special summon it, and then he gets his effect. But anyway, we're not going to go into that. Very, very rarely do you ever use that effect, because it's like a triple tactics, has to be on your turn. Anyway, the effect you want to use it for is when it is special summoned or normal summoned, but you are going to special summon it with spell cards and other monster cards, and we're going to go over that. When it's special summoned, you get to special summon an Xyz from the extra deck for free, place it on top of it, and then target another Super Quant layer monster in the grave and attach it to it. So let's say you have white layer in the grave, you can overlay on top for this, put white layer underneath, use Lustrix effect to get rid of black layer to use its effect, and you still have white layer underneath it, which gains its quick effect. Basically is the idea. So I'll go into explain that a little bit better. But anyway, so each of the Super Quantum monsters have 2 effects. They have one when they're sent to the graveyard, and they have one when they're special summoned or normal summoned. So his special summon effect, like I said, special summon an Xyz from the extra deck for free. Near enough. Then his sent to the graveyard effect is add a Super Quant spell from deck to hand. So this is a searcher. So as soon as you use effect like white layer, which is a dump, which we'll go over, you can search then for the spell card. And the spell card is one of the most OP cards in the deck. Again, this new support, if it came out in any other archetype, it would be unbeatable. Because it came out in Super Quant, it doesn't quite cut the mustard, if that is the same. Okay, the next one is white layer. This was the best card, but it's actually kind of not one of the worst, but it's still cool. Okay, so again, like I said, they each have a normal summon special summon effect and a graveyard effect. So this one has an effect to special summon itself first. So you can send another non-light Super Quant monster from hand or field to the grave, special summon. That's the first effect. Its second effect is when it is normal or special summoned, you can foolish burial a Super Quant card. So like that, you would send maybe black layer. Black layer will get you your spell if you don't have it in your hand. It's very situational, this whole deck, like I said. The other effect is if it's sent to the grave, whether it be like detached from an Xyz or sent from deck or whatever, from hand, whatever, it searches a Fairy Alphan, which is another light monster, and we'll go into that card momentarily. Those 2 are level 7s, by the way, so they will have synergy together to go into the likes of Lustrix. The next one we're running is 2 red layer. Red layer is quite cool at 2 because I find myself a lot of the time wanting this in the graveyard. Like if this is in the grave, sent to the grave, you can target a Super Quant monster in the grave and special summon it. So that's what that does. So it's basically a monster. So let's say you send, you activate white layer's effect to send red layer, then you have a monster reborn and special summon back a different Super Quant that's not him. Let's say it even be black layer. And if black layer is summoned, then you can put on top for the red Xyz, the red layer Xyz, and then equip it to this. And then next turn, even if, let's say it's quick effect, you can send and then special summon. Anyway, they all have synergy together in some way. It does have the Cyber Dragon effect special summon itself, but again, very, very rarely use the special summons the effect that they have. Its other effect is when it's normal or special summon, you can target Super Quant in the grave and add it to your hand. So again, has a lot of cool effects and synergy and stuff. Running the 1 green layer, if you have, so this one is used for if you have likes of Super Quant monsters in hand and you have the spell, you can special summon this from deck multiple ways, and then this special summons, let's say you have red layer in hand. Green layer's effect is special summon red layer from hand and go off on your plays like that. It has the graveyard effect to discard a Super Quant card. So maybe you could, like if you had red layer in your hand, you could discard red layer, monster reborn something with red layer's effect, and then draw a card. So that is the point for that one. These are the main OG red Super Quant cards. Then we have 3 blue layer, which is by far probably the best one. I'll put it there like that, it just looks a bit better. Blue layer is the best one. It is the best because it is, number one, it is psychic. So it can be E-tellied out, which is very, very nice. Its second effect it is strato. So it can, when it's normal or special, you can add a super quant card from deck to your hand. 9 times out of 10, you're searching the spells out of it if you don't already have them. Because the spells are so good and the field spell is needed to go into Great King Magnus. That is the point. It also has a very good effect because you're a lot of discarding, sending to the grave, sending from deck, whatever, special from deck. You're sending a lot. So what this does is when this is sent to the grave, you can target 3, including itself, and shuffle it back into the deck, which means you can reuse all your stuff, even if you go through your Xyz maybe. But yeah, that is it for the normal layer monsters. Now let's get into the fairy monsters. So this one is a new card as well that just came out in the set, which is Super Quantal Fairy Zetan. Zetan, again, another card. If it was in another archetype, it'd be absolutely amazing. But because it isn't, it's not. Anyway, it is a zombie monster. Level 1 zombie monster. And its effect is, if you control a super quant, you can special summon it from hand and make it the same level as that super quant. First effect, no problem. I never found myself going into the Xyz, but let's say if your opponent is going to stop something or makes, like, I don't know, has stopped you in some other way, it is handy for just an Xyz play. Its other effect is, which is amazing, it can tribute itself, send a super quant from deck, and special summon a super quant from deck. So again, like I said, what if you are sending the likes of red layer? Let's say you normal summon Zetan. You send red layer and you special summon black layer from deck. Let's say, for instance, just for instance, Zetan will go to grave. Red layer would activate to special summon Zetan or whatever, and Quantum Black layer would special summon, creating an Xyz, the red Xyz, and overlay on top of this. So you've got an Xyz and a super quant monster just for one. It's just a good card. Very, very good card. Or you could, there's other things around it, but yeah, it's you've seen what I mean. They all gain the graveyard effect. This one activates both effects for the one monster. That's why we run the likes of 1-for-1 and different cards like that to search this card, because it is one of the best. The other card then, which is searchable off white layer, like I said earlier, is Fairy Alphan. So Alphan has a very cool effect as well. It has an effect that I've never used either. When it's summoned, you can activate the effect to make all the levels of a super quant monster, all the levels of the monster on the field, which is fine, but we don't use that. The main effect we use is it tributes itself, and you can target 3 super quant monsters in the deck. Your opponent randomly picks one of them, and you special summon one to send the other 2. So you're actually gaining the effect of the other 2 sent to graveyard and the monster that's special summoned from deck, from this card. So you're getting 3 effects off the one. Originally, when this first card came out, you can only use the first 3 monsters. That wasn't very good, but now we have black layer and white layer, which each have very good graveyard effects. It's what you want. Very cool, very cool, very cool. The deck is missing something. I'll show you an end board in a minute because the end board is kind of ridiculous. But anyway, we're running the one field spell. The field spell is searchable from the multiple searchers that we have, like black layer being sent or blue being normal or special. Basically, what the super quant field spell does is you can discard a card. Let's say you have a red layer on field, you discard a card, and then you can overlay Xyz on top the red mech beast. If you have green, you overlay on top for the green. It's basically, it's the Power Rangers getting their Megazords or whatever. That's the whole idea of it. Next, one of the strongest spells that just came out in the set, Duelist Advance. And it has 3 effects. I find myself only really ever running or using the first effect, but if I use the third effect, it works too. Anyway, its effect reads, so this is the effect, we'll read the one we don't use first, which is target 1 attack position monster on the field, change the defense position. That could come up, but I've never used it. The second effect is, if you control a super quant monster, special summon a super quant monster from your deck with a different original attribute. Very good. Okay, so if you have a white layer, if you have a red layer, if you have green, if you have blue, if you've, let's say, blue layer searches this card, so you normal summon blue layer, you search this card, and then you can quick play a spell, activate, special summon black, and then special summon from grave. You summon an Xyz, whatever, you can detach and search a spell, field spell. That's how that would work. Um, if you drew one and maybe you search the second one, it has a third effect which you can use. You can use each effect once per turn, so you can use all three in one turn. But set a super quant trap from deck, and it can be activated this turn. And we'll go over that trap. Actually, we're trying to go over it now. Okay. So the only card, there's another card in this deck that bounces your opponent's whole board, but I mean, it's useful if you have Magnus out. It's not useful if you draw it. Anyway, this is the other card I'm running. You can run that if you want and get rid of this. It's up to yourself. But anyway, this is Super Quantum Mech Sword Magnus Lair. It has a weird effect, but it's your OTK enabler. It's your end board. So when you're going second, let's say, and you activate your Super Quant, the second one, you can set this and activate this turn. So what it does is it target a Super Quantic Sea monster, whether it be Great King Magnus or whatever. And it gains 100 attack points times its rank, which is pretty cool, Yeah, it just makes your monster stronger. Or you can send this from field to grave, and then your monster can attack 3 times. Which is I think is very good. Attacking 3 times is always fun. The next one is a must-have 3 E-Telly for your opening hand to get special summon blue layer searches. All your plays go off that way. Okay, we'll show these first. Yeah. So to go with E-Telly, we have the one for one, which again summons either of the fairy monsters, Alphan or Zetan. Pretty cool. And then I'm running 2 Piri Reyes map. I'm not sure anybody else would run Piri Reyes map, but it's another starter, technically. If you have the likes of no Zetan, and then you Piri Reyes map for Zetan and normal summon Zetan, you're getting your plays off. Same with Alphan. So it is for that reason I run Piri Reyes map. If something else came up in the future that helped consistency, I would run that. But for now, Piri Reyes map seems to work. And then we go into non-engine. So we have the 1 Nibiru, the 3 Ash Blossom, 1 Crossout, that's why we're running Nibiru, the 1 Triple Tactics Talents, because your opponent is going to try and stop you, and you want to keep going off when your opponent stops you. The 1 Thrust, the 1 Call by again for hand traps and stopping you and stuff, and then 3 Impar. There is, like I said, there is 2 more spaces there, but I just used it for consistency. Everything else is kind of a must-have. You need to run that ratio of Super Quant monsters. It is just a must. You will see if you do any sort of play testing that is what it is. Yeah, let's go into the extra deck then. So let's go backwards, I suppose. The extra deck is up to speculation or up to change or whatever you guys want. I'm running the 1 Cross Sheep. Not that it matters at all. Feel free to cut this card. I'm running SP or something. Phoenix, just for back row. Unicorn, just for stopping your opponent's stuff. Selene, because we are running a spellcaster. The 1 green is a spellcaster, so you can use the effect of Selene. This card never ever comes up, and I don't even recommend ever going into it. It's not a great card. It is. It uses 3 monsters. You need a Super Quant for it. It basically, every time you summon an XC, you draw, and then it like has a sort of a defense effect, but it's only a 2500 beat stick. It's not great. It's a lot of if it was a Link 2, absolutely would be amazing, but no, it's not. We're running 2 of the water Super Quantum Mech Beast Grand Pulse. Would I like Ultimate Rares? Yeah, sure. This cards, so they all the Xyz monster have a very similar effect as well, which is you can target a Super Quant in hand or field and attach it to it to give it more materials for Great Magnus, sorry. But each of them have their own effects. So Grand Pulse is a back row removal. Erebos is a, what would you call it? It's not Castel. It's a change. It's a Book of Moon. It's a change to face down defense position, which is a quick effect. Each of them, if it is a quick effect for each of them, if they have their pilots with them underneath them. 2 of Magna Liger. Magna Liger is a pop, quick effect if you have red layer underneath. Yeah. 2 Luster X, which is a negate. Basically, it's change a monster to defense position and it's a negate, which is pretty cool. It's one of the best ones. You can't even see that, can you? There. 1 Typhon, for obvious reasons. The 1 Zeus, for again, Xyz, obvious reason. And the 1 Great King Magnus. If you want to run 2 Great King Magnus, you never go into the second one, but maybe if your opponent banishes one, get rid of Crossout Sheep. Great King Magnus is amazing. Great King Magnus has 3 effects. 4 effects, really. If he's sent to the grave, you can special summon 3 mech beast monster in the grave. So whatever was attached to him. I don't know if you can see him either. Yeah, you can special summon 3 mech beast monsters from the grave. So if they do manage to get rid of this powerhouse, you could like special summon Luster X, Magna Liger, and this. And the next turn, try and get effects out of them. They can't attack if they don't have materials either. But anyway, so if it has 2 or more materials, it can, during either player's main phase, detach a material and shuffle a card on the field into the deck. So it's a non-targeting removal on the field, which is pretty sweet. That's the first effect. 4 or more is unaffected by card effects except Super Quant cards. It's unaffected by everything. The only thing to get rid of this is like a kaiju. And then 6 or more, your opponent can't add cards from deck except by drawing them. So, very, very cool. And I can show you, if you guys want, a test hand, because we have a bit of time. Why not? For those of you who don't know how the deck kind of works, you know, let's see what we have here. Let's go with this. Let me give this a quick shuffle. You guys can check back in when the shuffle's finished. A bit of editing to be done. Edit. A real item. Go what you say. Just rest. Jeez Louise. Okay, put the deck there. Okay, so let's see what our hand is like. So this is our hand. So yeah, it's up to kind of preference what you'd play first. Blue Lair is always a good normal summon. 1 for 1 is there for Zetan, and Piri Reis map is there for Zetan of Alpha if you didn't draw it. But anyway, let's go. Let me see. What is the best way to do this? Piri Reis map, and you could do Zetan that way. That's a normal summon that way. Okay. Let's go for Blue Lair, effect. Search for the new spell in the set. Move this on here. Let's activate the new spell because we control a layer guy. And let's go for, I know we're all going to summon Zetan, but let's go for Zetan for the gigs. And send that. Now Zetan's effect is to tribute itself. The tribute this card. Send a Super Quant from deck. Send a Super Quant from deck to grave. Okay, let's summon White Lair. And let's send Black Lair. So 2 effects go off now. White Lair sends from deck, so that'll be 1, and then Black Lair will be 2. So we will get the field spell off Black Lair, which is a super quantum spell. I'll leave my hand here if you want to see. And then White Lair will send, let's say, Red Lair. Red Lair's effect goes off now, which allows me to special summon Black Lair back. Black Lair has been special summoned now, so his effect goes off, which is to Xyz on top for Magna Liger, and then attach a Red Lair from grave to it. Just like that. Then we have, let me see. That is basically combo, by the way, just from that. But I want to see if we can extend a little bit harder. Let's go 1 for 1. Sending our Alphan in hand that we don't need to summon another Alphan that we do need. Now, Alphan could use the effect of like special, make them all level 7 or level 3 or whatever. But we're going to activate Alphan's effect, which is to tribute this. And then what you do is you target 3 cards. So we can do maybe a blue layer, green, and another red layer. Let's say just for instance, because we've used our whites and blacks effects. Okay. Get rid of this. We would shuffle, even roll a dice to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 1. So this card will be special summoned. The other 2 will go to grave. The only effect we could do there is use green layers effect to draw a card. So we could do discard a super QUANT card, which is black layer, and draw a card, which was our Magnus layer. And then we special summon obviously blue layer. Blue layer has no effect because it was already used this turn. So then we can overlay for blue layer like that. We don't need to do that, but we can do that. Grand Pulse then on top, and then we'd activate the field spell, which I'll put up here so you can see, whatever. I'll put these down, you can see the field spell then. Yeah, then what you do is activate the field spell, which is to discard a card like your Piri Reis map, and overlay on top for Lustrax. Next, you would remove, activate second effect of your field spell, getting rid of your field spell, and to overlay on top all of your cards to go into Great King Magnus with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 materials. And that would be, and then obviously a set Magnus layer. Okay, so that's how every board ends if you don't get interrupted. You know. So the way this works now is this is unaffected by all card effects bar Super QUANT cards. If it's destroyed, it's going to special summon back 3 monsters. Your opponent can't add cards. So let's say they normal something that has an effect. First you would do is like, let's say, for instance, let me see. Let's go with like, I don't know, let's go with red layer. So like your opponent summons something or activates something. You bounce that back to the deck, send red layer, and then red layer would immediately special summon from grave the likes of black layer. Black layer's effect would activate on summon to get the likes of, we only have red in our grave, so let's overlay on top of that for a Magna Liger. Magna Liger would then attach red layer from grave, and now Magna Liger has a quick effect to destroy another card on field. So you could then, let's say your opponent activates something else, you would then get rid of the likes of black layer, destroying a card and searching a spell because of black layer going to grave. Okay, that's what you would do. Let's say that stops your opponent because they can't add anything. It would be your turn then. You would draw a card, which is black layer and the fields, the spell. And again, you can just go off on some crazy plays there again. Now, black layer is second effect of special summon if your opponent activates something, can come in now, but it wouldn't originally. But that would be like OTK in a way. So let's say we have another effect here because it's once per turn or whatever. So you could, in theory, let's say get rid of white layer. White layer's effect in grave is to search for Fairy Alphan. And then they would bounce another card. Now you still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which still gets its third effect off, which is still pretty cool. So you can still bounce. You can see your opponent still can't add any cards even on their turn. And then we can have Magnus Layer. So Magnus Layer would let it gain 1200 attack points, which makes it 48. But you can just get rid of this, and this can attack 36 3 times. If your opponent did still have something, you can use Magna Liger again to destroy a card your opponent controls. Again, emptying the board, but you then have Fairy Alphan. You can do the same thing where you tribute special 1, discard 2. And you have the spell card to special summon another layer from deck to go into more Xyz plays. And then you attack basically 36, 36, 36 endgame. So it is it's a cool deck. Yeah, for those of you who actually stuck around and watched that video, fair play to you. But it's a cool deck. I'm really enjoying it. I'm liking it. I think it's just a cool idea. It was a deck, like, I obviously like Power Rangers growing up as a kid. I think anybody in the 90s did. But yeah, it's really cool. I don't know, it's missing a little something. But yeah, I hope you liked the video, guys. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and good luck.